Welcome to Here's How We Get There. It's the daily show filled with conversations about business and mental health in a down-to-earth style with real-world language. Now let's dive in with your co-hosts, Kenneth Shark Kinney and Trey Tucker.
All right, Trey, the New York Jets thought they were going to have an amazing year. They bring on Aaron Rodgers. Very first game of the year, 4 plays in, tears his Achilles heel. So as of the time of this recording, it looks like he's going to be out, but he's a 39-year-old quarterback, joining obviously one of the toughest markets to play in the world with one of the toughest crowds, following in the footsteps of many great quarterbacks. Haven't been a lot since Joe Namath, but a lot of hopes and prayers around what he was going to do for the Jets this year. What are your thoughts on where they go from here?
That's the key to me from a mental perspective is hopes. We put our hopes in so many things, and I'm going to generalize this for a second because obviously the Jets fans, Aaron himself, they had hopes and then they get crushed. So the disappointment, what do we do when we get disappointed? I work with quarterbacks quite a bit, and there's a lot of disappointment that has to come their way. And then, of course, just us in everyday life, we get our expectations here, and then life happens and it goes down to here. So then what do we do to fill that gap? And what I try to tell people is, look, your tendency is either going to be to try to rush to say, all right, this doesn't matter. This doesn't hurt. I'm just moving on. I'm plowing ahead. That's one wrong way to do it. The other wrong way to do it is just to totally fall apart and give up. So we got to figure out, okay, the middle looks like this. The middle looks like acknowledging what happened. Let's actually be real about, I'm injured or something didn't go well. My expectations weren't met. Let me acknowledge that. Let me get the emotions out and let me grieve that, because any kind of disappointment, any kind of loss, whether it's an injury or a season, we have to grieve it. We have to actually allow those emotions to come out, because if we don't, it's really going to just tank us. Leads to things like depression, anxiety, just territory we don't want to get in. So generally speaking, something like this has to be grieved. But what take are you looking at?
So as a Cowboys fan who perennially, can't say that word, deals with grief and loss every year, at least over the last couple decades.
You're well familiar.
I'm very well familiar with this, although they did beat the Giants 40-0 in a spanking. However, at least getting back to Aaron Rodgers, one of the things I think that becomes very hopeful, and I know all people do it, but I felt pretty good about the way Aaron Rodgers is going to help others deal with grief, is he had a really strong attitude coming out of the surgery. So post-surgery, and I guarantee it was one of the greatest Achilles heel doctors on the planet to perform this. So, and I knew this, I believe this is the guy that worked with Kobe Bryant and other people. But if you think of what the whole stories of Achilles is, as well, with vulnerability, with how his mother left his heels open. I mean, it shows that the power behind the hopes were his own resilience and what he's proven over his career. And I'm hoping that the resilience he's showing now to help get back on his feet, for lack of a better phrase, will help inspire a lot of others and keep those hopes alive. Although I don't want them to win as long as they play the Cowboys, but I don't think that's going to happen either way. But I do think that Aaron's attitude right now is what's going to be able to lift a lot of spirits until then. And, hopefully they'll have a backup that'll last beyond a few games.
Thank you for joining Shark and Trey on the Here's How We Get There show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show and visit here'showwegetthere.com. That's here'showwegetthere.com.